Hello friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name is Ashley and I just want to let you know ahead of time I'm going to be in my feels today. It is my daughter's birthday soon and she's turning 18. So today what I've been doing is working on large cutouts going from her first birthday all the way into her 17th birthday to celebrate her 18th birthday. So I absolutely love making these large picture cutouts. They are so much fun. A lot of people call them fan heads or big heads. I love making these. These ones in particular will stand on their own because I use these little suction cups. We'll get into that. But I figured since I love making these, maybe you want to learn how to make them too, so you can do something like this. So today I'm going to be using my Siser Romeo for this project. Now, you don't necessarily need to use the Romeo. You could totally do this on the Juliet. The only reason why I'm choosing to do the larger one is because I want to make larger cutouts. I'm also going to be using my 24-inch printer for this just because I feel like the print quality is great and I have really nice paper over there. So I'm going to be using my 24-inch printer. Because I'm using my 24-inch printer, I'm going to need my 24-inch cutter to cut these prints. Again, you can totally just use your Juliet. All the same steps that I'm going to take today, you can use over there. And I will even show you how to use your Juliet if that's what you're choosing to do. You don't necessarily need the Romeo to do this project, just to let you know. Okay, before we get started, the one thing that you're going to need to do that I am not going to show you how to do is find the photos that you're looking for, editing the photos to your liking, and then sending them to your computer. You're going to need them on your computer, edited and ready to go. Now, removing the background and cutting them out, that's something that I am going to show you how to do. But as far as like editing your photo to lighten it and brighten it and all that stuff, that is something that you need to do beforehand. Are you ready? Let's get started. Okay, so I already have a blank window of Siser Leonardo open. We're not even gonna start there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna open up our internet browser. And you want to go to this website right here. It's remove.bg. This is my go-to website to remove any background on any picture. You can see I already have pictures 1, 2, and 3 already done. Then what you want to do is find your pictures that you are using. So here it is right here for me. And I'm just going to go in chronological order. So I've stopped at 3. So I'm going to take number 4 picture and I'm going to drag and drop it into the remove.bg website. Okay, so this is what that remove background website has come up with. For me personally, I'm going to keep her sitting in this chair because I think if I have her in the cutout looking like she's sitting like this, it's going to be very weird. I'm going to keep her sitting. If you wanted to erase something, you would just come over here into the erase restore. And what you can do is click on the erase and we could erase what we don't want. Now you can see that when I did that, a part of the chair got removed. So you can keep going until you have erased everything you don't want. I'm just gonna go back. What I am gonna do, however, is I am going to remove this skirt that's down here on the bottom. So I'm just going to make my brush size a little bit smaller. And I'm just going to drag my mouse, click and drag my mouse around the bottom of this skirt. I want to delete just the skirt. Okay, when you have red on everything you want to delete, just let go of your mouse and magically the skirt is now gone. Okay, I am done. I like those edits, so I'm just gonna press done and then I'm gonna press download. Now you'll notice that I did not download this to HD. If you wanted to, you could sign up for an account and then it does cost money, but you could download it HD. However, I don't have an account A, and B, I don't feel like it's necessary, so I just press the download. It is going to go into your downloads folder. Just drag it back over into that folder that we were using for my daughter's birthday. So here it is right here. This is the removed background. Okay. Now we're gonna go into the next picture. So my daughter's 5th birthday. I'm gonna drag this into the remove background website, doing the same thing that we did for the 4th birthday. Okay, and so for this picture, everything but this pink bag got deleted and I want to delete that. So I'm gonna go into erase restore and I'm just gonna take my magic brush and I'm gonna hover over just that pink bag. When I have that done, let go with my mouse and it's gone. Then all you want to do is press done and press download. Going into your downloads folder, you want to drag that into that folder that we have all the other pictures that we're using in. Okay, you're going to want to do this for all the pictures that you plan on using. Okay, so I have removed background on all the pictures that I need to use. Now all I'm going to do is go back into the Siser Leonardo program. Now what you want to do is inside the Leonardo program, you're going to press Command I, or you can come up here into File and then Import. Okay, then you want to choose the picture that you remove the background on. So I'm going to start on the 4th birthday. So we're going to click 4 and just press open. Because we removed the background on the Remove Background website, the only thing you have to do here is keep pressing next. So here's our picture. We're going to press next again, and then finish. So that was how easy it is to import our files into the Leonardo program. For this next step, do you see how my pictures have this white layer here? And you can tell, like in this right here, how it's not glued down all the way. That's because I have 2 layers. The reason for that is I have a clear acrylic cake stick glued into the sandwich of my layers. And I wanted to be able to hide all the glue and the ugly and make this look really cute from front to back. Now, you can't flip these because that's essentially what you would need to do to make them line up, because first and foremost, her face is going to look different if we flip them. But secondly, especially for something like this where it says birthday princess, if we flip this, the lettering is going to be backwards and it's going to look really weird. So my switch to that is I'm just going to create an offset to make this look super cute and finished. So with our picture highlighted, I'm going to come down here to build contours. Now I do not want this to be a printed file. I want it to be an edible cut file. I want to be able to cut this on something else. I'm going to be using like a thick poster board for my backers just for stability. So I'm going to go down to edible contours. Now I have it set to black and you really can't see anything because we don't have an offset. But what we're going to do is we're going to bump this up a little bit. And as we bump it up, do you see this black shadow that's coming up? That's going to be our offset. Now, at this point, you can create your offset any size that you want. I think I'm going to create it at 0.055. Jot this number down because we are going to copy and paste this number into every single picture that we end up using. This just makes things consistent, and then you don't always have to be clicking up and trying to eyeball what you want your offset to look like. And then I'm just going to keep it black. I don't really care what color it is because I'm going to cut it out on white paper anyways, and I'm going to press apply. Okay, before we continue, let's just press pause and let me explain what I'm about ready to do. I'm also going to tell you how we're going to keep this simple for you if you don't have a 24-inch printer and you wanted to do this on your Juliet. Okay, so for me, I am doing print thin cuts on 24-inch paper for my 24-inch printer. But I am going to do the offset cutouts on just regular poster board 11 by 17 size. When you are doing a print thin cut on 24 inches, and then a cutout in 11 by 17, because those papers are not the same, it gets a little confusing and messy inside the Leonardo program. So what I am going to do is I am just going to come up here and press this plus sign. We are going to create a whole new window or project in the Siser Leonardo program. Okay, going back over into the very first tab. At this point, you are going to want to resize the offset and that picture together. Okay, remember what I said? I want to cut the offset in 11 by 17 paper. So I'm going to come up here into Artboard and I'm going to change this over to 11 by 17. Okay, we're going to disregard this print thin cut job and selecting at both your things, your shadow and your picture. You're going to make sure that you're locked right here. And you are going to resize this. Now the page that I'm going to be using is 11 by 17. So I am going to make my cutout as big as I can possibly get it in the 11 by 17 paper size. Okay, so when I resize both of these, you're going to see that it looks very weird. Trust the process. My complete cutout is 11.75 by just shy of 14 inches. that is perfectly fine. They're not going to be able to fill up the page depending on how your pictures are looking. Now I'm going to deselect out of that. Clicking my daughter's picture, we're going to copy this or Command C, and we're going to go to the second tab and Command V. This is her picture. Now at this point, I'm going to change this page over to the page size that I'll be using to print then cut. So my width is going to be 24 inches by 25 inches in length. Okay, we are going to turn this into a print then cut job, and we are going to drag this picture and place it into our project mat. Now everything that is this red right here is going to be our margin or print margin. So making sure that your piece of paper, disregard the black lines right now, making sure our picture is placed inside those print margins. Now, remember, once we've separated them into two separate projects, do not, I repeat, do not resize this or this. You don't want to resize it. Now, if you wanted to only print on 11 by 17 paper, or if you only wanted to print it on 8.5 by 11, whatever you wanted to do, let me move this to the side, and I'm going to copy and paste and just bring a new one in. Okay, we are going to center these real quick. And let's say that I wanted to do my print then cut and my offset on 11 by 17 paper. What I would do is I would size this to be able to fit inside my 11 by 17 paper. Then what you would want to do is clicking your offset only. You're going to come down here into default print, and we are going to do a cut tool. Then what you're going to do is you're going to do the page marks. Then what you're going to do is just drag over the very outset, and then you would be able to press send, and you'd press send again. What you would need to do is print, then cut this piece of paper. You would press back in design. You would take this off, place this inside, unchecking the page marks, unchecking the print then cut job, making sure that this says 11 by 17. You would press send design and then press send. So then you would be able to cut out the offset. Now remember, this is not the process that I'm doing. So I'm just going to press back to design, and I'm going to delete these smaller ones right here. Okay, these two is what I am looking for. Remember where we left off. This is my offset. This is my larger print then cut that we've copied and pasted inside a second window or another project inside the Leonardo program. So going back over into the first tab, I am now going to delete this. I don't need it anymore. Okay, this right here, I am just going to move over to the side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Command I or import, and I'm going to move on to the next picture, which is number 5, and press open. Doing the same thing we've done before. We're just going to keep pressing next until we get finished, and there is our picture. We are going to create a contour. Remember, we're going to go to editable contour because I want to cut this. And remember that number you jotted down, 0.055, that was mine. And I'm going to press tab. And now you can see that we have a black offset, and just press apply. At this point, I want to make sure that this fits inside my 11 by 17 sheet of paper. So I am going to resize this, making sure that this is still locked. And let's just do 16.75. And it's going to be thinner than 11. Perfect. So I am going to click on just my daughter's picture, Command C, go into the second tab, Command V. And then I'm going to drag this picture into my new mat. Okay, it's okay if these are grayed out right now. We're going to get to that here in a little bit. We're going to go over into the first tab, and now we're going to delete this picture. So we got this one right here. Okay, now let's do the third picture. So Command I, and we're going to do the 6th birthday, press open, doing the same thing. We're going to go next, 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 finish. Doing the contour, we're going to click editable contour, and we're going to insert that magic number, press tab, and then press apply. We're going to resize both of our layers, the offset and the original picture. Okay, when you have that done, we are going to just click my daughter's picture or your picture, for instance. We're going to Command C, go to the second tab and Command V, and there it is right here. And you want to put this on your mat. So I'm just going to rearrange this so it fits onto my project board. For this side of things, you want to make sure that none of your pictures are touching or overlapping. So like, do you see how I just put this picture over the top of the other two? If you do that, A, your pictures are going to go print on top of each other, and B, it's going to cut out on top of each other, giving you like an ugly print. So we are just going to make sure that all three of the pictures, or how many ever pictures you have on your screen, don't overlap each other. Okay, for how large I have my prints, I'm only going to be able to fit 3 on a page. The reason why I'm not going to make this like an even longer page is because I'm going to be cutting this out completely. And in order for you to be able to cut out on your Siser Romeo, you are going to need to use a mat for this project. And because they only make mats 24 by 24, that's the size print that I'm going to be able to do. So for this project, I'm just going to be able to do 3 pictures every single time. So coming over here, we are going to click on this page marks. See how now everything changed? That's why I wasn't concerned about things being grayed out, because we are going to fix that. All right, I am going to take these page marks and I am going to hug my print on all sides. So we're just going to drag our page registration marks close in to everything. See how I put my page marks really close together and nice and tight inside my project. Then when you're done doing that, I always suggest to save our work. So we're going to click File, Save As. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prep the other side of this. So I'm going to go back over into this side. We are going to delete this. Now remember, I don't want this to be a print job, so I'm going to uncheck that. And I'm going to make sure it's 11 by 17. I am also going to select all 3 of these offsets. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to default, and I'm just going to use this right here, the cut tool. So I'm going to change everything over to being a cut. Okay, to make this easy for you, what I am going to do is selecting one of these. I'm just going to change the line to a different color. It will look like nothing has changed. Trust me, it will. We're going to select our second one, and I'm just going to select a totally different color, not what I did for the first one. This one right here is set to black. That's perfect. I'm going to select all 3 or all of your outlines that you have on there. I'm going to come down here to space objects, and I'm going to align this to the center, align this vertically, and I'm just going to make sure that these fit onto my page, which they should. Then I'm just going to press O. That's going to bring it into our project mat. Then I'm going to press Send Design and then press Send. Okay, do you see how now we have 3 separate mats? That's exactly what you wanted. If you didn't do that and you decided that you wanted to keep all 3 pictures with that black color, what would happen is if you were to try and do what I just did, putting everything on the page and then going over here to Send Design and then Send, what would happen is all 3 are going to be on one page, which is not what you want. The other thing is if you wanted to then just do one at a time, you could, but then you're sending it to design, and then you would have to go back in design, move this out, put this back in, and press Send Design again. So it ends up being a lot more work. So like I said, what you want to do is selecting one of your offsets. We are going to just change the color of it, doesn't matter what color. We're going to select the second one, and we're going to change this color over to something completely different, and we'll just leave the third because that's black. Then all you want to do is make sure that all your offsets fit inside your page. It will look very weird. We just trust the process. And then we're going to press Send Design, and we're going to press Send again. And all 3 of our offsets are now separated in 3 separate mats. Exactly what we want. Now, before we do Send Design, however, we missed a step. We want to save our work just like we did for the first one. So I'm going to go to File and Save As, and I'm going to do 4 through 6 pictures, and this is going to be the offset. That's just my memory for a future use if I wanted to use these again. And then press Save. I am going to print my pictures first. So I'm going to go over into the pictures. We set this up already. We have already saved this. Let's just go over to Send Design. And we're just going to press Send. So this is what our print then cut job is going to look like. This is what we're going to print, and this is what we're going to cut. Going back into the first one, I want to make sure that this right here is no larger than 24 inches wide by 25 inches tall, because my printer can only print 24 inches. You want to make sure that your dimensions are not larger than what you're trying to print. Looks good, so I'm going to press Save PDF Artwork. We're just going to save this. I don't need to rename it. Okay, going into that folder that we've been working on, I'm going to find that PDF file that we just saved, which is right here, and I'm going to double click and open it. Okay, now what you want to do is Command P or print. If you need to choose your page size, you would just go down here into printer, just press yes, and then this will pop up. So you have the ability to make sure that you're choosing the right paper size and your right print quality and everything like that. When you have that done, you just want to press print and then print again. Okay, now that we wait for our printer to print this up, you're going to want to grab your Siser Romeo and also your 24-inch mat, and then we're going to print then cut this. I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. Okay, so I have my 24-inch mat and my 24-inch print. I'm going to line up my print to the bottom of my mat. Okay, then with your machine, you are going to slide in your mat. Now, you always want to make sure that these right here are going to be over your black little grip things, and you want to make sure that it grips your mat. Okay, I am going to line up the base of my mat in with the base of my machine, making sure that this is nice and straight. I'm also going to line it up to this right here. So just pushing it close to the gray slot, making sure that this is nice and straight. When I have that done, there's a lever on the back of your Siser. You just want to lift this up. Okay, so this is what your machine prepped and ready to go will look like. Okay, so I am going to turn my screen on just by tapping it. Now, we want to make sure that our cut settings are going to cut appropriately. So I am just going to take my little touch screen. I'm going to move the head. You can't see it right now, but I'm going to move it over to the right. You see how now my head's in place? I'm going to put this head in a blank area where I know it's not going to cut anything out that I don't want cut. I definitely don't want my pictures to get cut out for this. We're going to go over into cut settings. I already have something loaded up. Now I want to test this, so I'm just going to press this t-shirt button. When it's done doing its test cut, I am just going to move my head out of the way, and I am going to see if the machine cut the paper. And this right here is completely cut out and looks great. The t-shirt turned out really great. The entire cut is perfect. Okay, so now that I've had that done, I'm going to move my head using this right here. I'm going to move my head to where my cutting blade is going to be on the inside corner of this bottom left registration mark. So I'm just going to go like that, and we're going to drag our head over. Okay, just like that, you are going to see that my head is on the inside corner of that L. Okay, now that we have the machine set up, we've tested the settings, we are going to click down here into cutting contours, and I am just going to press send to cutter and press yes. Now the machine is going to read all my registration marks. All right, now our Romeo is cutting out all 3 of those cutouts. Okay, just to double check that my Siser cut perfectly. Look at that, looks great. So now I'm just going to press my lever that's right here, press it down. And I'm just going to move my machine over just a little bit so I can turn this over. Because this mat is extremely sticky and brand new, I'm going to reverse take my material off so I don't ruin my prints. Okay, so here are my prints cut out. Look at this one. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. These pictures cut out beautifully with, oh my goodness, look at how crisp. Okay. All right, now what we want to do is cut out the offsets. So I am not going to use my 24-inch mat for this. I'm going to be using a 24-inch, like a 12 by 24-inch mat from Cricut. I'm going to insert my 11 by 17 paper. I'm going to put it in the bottom left. Now I'm going to insert this into my machine. Doing the same thing I did before. I'm going to line this up to the very edge of my machine, but also that gray plate that's right there. And then I'm gonna lift my lever up. Okay, we are going to put our blade in the bottom left corner of our material. You wanna do it on the material, not the mat. Now, for this particular paper, I am not going to change my cut settings. I've already tested them and the settings work perfectly for my glossy cardstock and also this one. Okay, back at the Leonardo, what I wanna do is go back to design. Now I'm going to click on the first tab. Okay, then I am going to press send design and press send. So we have 3 different 11 by 17 sheets of paper that we need to cut. So I'm just gonna press send to cutter and press yes. Okay, now that that's done cutting, we'll just double check to see if it cut. My settings were good for that. So I'm just gonna put my lever down and slide my mat out. Doing the same thing I did before with my 24-inch mat, I'm gonna roll this over and roll out my cutout. So this is my cutout right here. Okay, we're gonna take out the excess paper that is left over. You can save the smaller pieces for scraps if you wanted to. I'm just gonna throw them away. And we are going to load in another 11 by 17 sheet of paper. Doing the same thing we did before, we are just going to line this up to the base of the machine and also your plate, lifting your lever up. We're going to put our head in the bottom left corner of our material. Okay, now that we're on our second mat, we want to manually click our second. Okay, then I'm going to press send to cutter and press yes. Okay, at this point, I clearly have a lot more pictures to cut out. We are on number 6 and I have to go all the way up to 17. That being said, the same steps that I did and showed you right now are the same steps that I am going to do getting all the way to my 17th picture. So cut out every single picture that you need and then come back to me and I'm going to show you how to turn them into self-standing little centerpieces. Okay, so I have my pictures and my offsets all cut out and they're all stacked like they're supposed to. I'm just gonna flip this over. We're gonna work on number 17 and work our way backwards. Okay, for this next step, this right here is what I am using for my project today, and they are just suction cups that I got off of Amazon. The exact ones I purchased, I will link in the description of this video. So what you're going to get is something that looks like this, with this is the back, and we're hiding that stick, that ugly, right? I like these because I'm gonna be able to suction cup them to my counter, and then they will stand straight up by themselves. Now, in previous videos, I have done like really large character cutouts and I've used these right here. These will also be linked. This is a different option, but what you would do is you would stand these are like cardboard easels. You would take this right off. This would be a sticker. And let's say that this cutout is finished. So then you would put this on top of this and then it would stand like that. This is a great option too. The only difference is this, you're gonna be able to see the stand versus this. It's just going to be at the bottom and it's clear, so it'll blend right into the counter and it'll look like it's freestanding, but both options are perfectly fine. Now, as far as connecting your stick to the suction cup. So here are a couple examples and the solutions I would do for that. What you're going to need to do is eventually you are going to need to put a stick or something inside of this hole right here. So this right here is like a wooden dowel I have. It will not fit inside of this hole, so this will not work. If you had something like this, I would obviously go a little bit thicker than this, but you could put it inside the hole and it moves around a lot, right? So a solution to that is use some hot glue, fill the hole up, and then put that inside of there. I don't necessarily think that that's a really good idea if it's really thin, but if you had like a semi-thicker dowel to put in there, that would work. I do have some plastic straws when I was testing out this theory. Plastic straws worked really well. In this, that was like the perfect height. All you're gonna need to do is find something like a stick that fits inside that hole nice and snug. Now I have a laser cutter. So I manufactured my own clear acrylic cake sticks. This is what they look like when they get cut. something like this. Now I sized and made these the exact width or diameter or whatever for inside the hole. So when I stick my sticks inside that hole, they are stuck there and they are nice and tight, so they're not gonna fall out. So I purposely made some clear acrylic cake sticks that are a little bit fatter. I wouldn't generally use these for cakes, but I just made some clear sticks that I'm gonna peel the masking tape off, shove them in the holes, and they are going to be nice and tight and not fall out. So that was my solution to that. Okay, so to getting the proper length of stick, because I don't want a whole bunch of the clear stick to be showing, what I've been doing is taking and peeling off my masking tape off my sticks, and I've been jamming them into the holes of the suction cups. Okay, I have been taking my edge of my desk, taking this and putting it at the very edge. Do you see how it's just gonna like hang off on the very edge of this? Okay, here is my daughter's picture from her 17th birthday. I'm gonna move this off to the side, and I'm gonna take this right here, and I'm gonna kind of line up where I want this picture and the stick to go. So I think I'm gonna put it right here. So here is the stick, and there is my entire cutout. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this stick over. You really didn't have to do that, I just do it. And I'm gonna take some hot glue, and I'm gonna put hot glue down the entire stick. Doing the same thing as I just did, I am going to line this stick up with my cutout, making sure my stick is nice and flat since this is a flat stick. And I still have my suction cup hanging off the base of my desk. Okay, we're gonna put this down really hard. Now all you wanna do is slide this over. We're gonna let this dry for a second. To glue your pictures onto your backers, I love using some really good quality glue sticks. The reason for that is this has very minimal moisture or water in it. So when you put glue onto your pictures aren't going to ripple and change. I have seen other people do really large cutouts like this, and they use spray adhesive, like a repositionable spray adhesive. That is a good option too, but I would definitely not suggest a liquid paper glue for this, just because you don't want your prints to start to ripple because of the moisture in the glue. Got my glue sticks, I got a whole bunch of them, and I am going to heavily douse this entire cutout with glue. Okay, when you have all the glue on your cutout, you're gonna wanna move pretty quickly. We are going to take this cutout that has that stick on it. We are gonna put some hot glue on the top portion of our stick, and then I just like to run it off like that, so you don't have any pieces of strings. Okay, then all you wanna do is line your cutout up in the center of your back offset. Okay, then when you have it down, I am just gonna take a brayer and I am going to roll my cutout onto the backer. Now I am avoiding that clear stick. You don't wanna ripple or bend or crease your print, but I'm just going to make sure that everything else is nice and stuck on there. So now we're gonna let this dry, but now it is going to stand up straight when you put it onto the counter. Okay, when I get all done with all of these cutouts, I will show you what the finished look looks like with all of them lined up.
Here is the final project, ages 1 through 17. Isn't this so stinking cute? It fills up the entire length of my island. I am absolutely obsessed. So the very front of this is going to have all the pictures, and then on the back you're going to be able to see that everything is very clean and seamless, and then all you see is the little suction cups that are suction cupped onto the counter. All right, y'all, I sure hope I inspired you to create. I'll see you later.